just carried this group of people who were playing champion on the Weave, and this group was actually polite and nice, and they were saying like a bunch of like, hey, thank you so much, and like, we're really sorry, we're fucking new to this shit. And I'm like, I get it, it's the Weave. Like, if it was a normal game, I'd be like, yeah, you can get a little bit better, but I'm like, no, this is all fucked up. This is all fucked up shit, and I like the chaos, so that's fine. So I went through it, entire not the full mission, like a solid like joining the first quarter, and they died. I rezzed them a couple times. They really tried, but you know how the Weave is, it consumes all. It consumes all. So it was just like I was just enjoying my time here. So while I was having that conversation with you, basically I had to go back and forth fighting hordes of enemies. Killed so much that I did like a few objectives, but I killed so many enemies that I ended up getting enough souls to just go for the exit. So I ended up, like, even though I was right where their bodies were, I ended up just making to the exit because I'm like, well, I'll revive you when we get to the next section, doesn't matter. And they were just like saying, you know, like, oh, thank you, and all this other shit. Actual chat, I didn't read that one. Yeah, they're like, we were new to the game, sorry. Actual chat. Oh, that's fucking dope. But yeah, that was going on.
I've had the occasional people comment on stuff like that, then they always just leave the game immediately after. I never see them ever again.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the thing I don't understand. I'll occasionally have people be like, oh wow, thanks for the carry, like once in a fucking 100 billion missions. Somebody will actually comment on something that I do, and then they'll just disappear into the void, never to be seen or heard from ever again. And then it's just another 100 million matches of a bunch of random assholes that do absolutely nothing for themselves and can't do anything at all for anybody outside of possibly themselves, and they even feel doing that. And I'm just like, bruh, when you're gray, you fucking heal yourself. You have healing items, yes, use them. And then they get mad at me because I'm telling them to heal themselves, and then they die. Then they're like, oh, I didn't know I was gray. And I'm like, I just told you. Why?
Yes.
And it's not like that's a, you know, recruit difficulty thing. That's a cataclysm difficulty thing.
Yeah.
I had that happen like a couple days ago. Freaking dwarf refused to heal when he was gray for like 5 minutes, and I kept telling him to, and he just didn't.
Right.
And then he just died. And then he was like, oh wow, I didn't know I was gray. Wow. Fucking dumbass.
It do be like that. I have encountered the occasion. That's as weird as it is. That's kind of like why I played the Weave. This is gonna sound weirdly counterproductive, but this is my reasoning. Is since there's no healing items or whatever, and and it makes sense to have despite no one really using it. With Natural Bond, I use Natural Bond. It's the fact that like now I don't have to be playing with players who don't know or have to worry or better, and then also the down times and revive times are not as terrible as standard, if that makes sense. Because when they go down, they bleed out for a long time, and they can suffer a lot of damage. So it's not that bad, and when they are dead, it's like, well, that's fine. That's not an issue. It's only an issue when I'm like playing like Kato, to be honest, and even then it's fine.
Even then you just get a recruit or a veteran chest, so what's the point?
I'm not here for chests, I'm here for the coins and the experience, because it's different, it's fun. Different from the main adventure. That's my own reasons.
Yeah, so if you're there just because it's fun, that that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're there for loot, it's
yeah, entirely different story. Yeah.
That's completely not the point of what that loot is.
Exactly. Yeah, on that point, entirely different.
It's like, sure, you do get a chest, but like it's always a shitty chest.
It's always, yeah.
Like, even on the harder difficulties, because that's not the point of it. It's supposed to be just as painful and annoying as physically possible, which would be fun if you had actual people to play it with, but I don't have fucking people to play it with.
Yeah, you have me.
Yeah, that's one person mixed with two randoms that we both have to carry every single time, and even more bullshit than regular. I'm just like, nah.
And we all have our different tolerances.
I carry enough people through enough shit for my entire life. I'm too old for this shit, nah. Maybe if I was 18, maybe. But nah. I don't have the patience for it anymore.
No, I get that. I get that. No problem, bro. I get that.
I've never been a patient person anyway. People say patience is a virtue, and I'm like, well, it's a good thing that violence is a sin.
That's definitely one good way of putting it. I know, the world would be a lot different if it was not that, huh?
The world would be a lot more different if people weren't just pussies all the time, yeah.
Yeah, people weren't as pansy footing.
A lot better place.
Like, for me, the world would be a better place if people were actually passionate about the things that they did. Like, I understand being casual on things, and that's fine with certain things, but when it involves another human being, you gotta be passionate. But yet people don't. And people are like that all in areas of life. And like I understand people are like, well, it's different when you're playing like online or whatever. I'm like, absolutely agreed there. Absolutely agree. But at the same time, you have to accept the other side of the caveat, and that is, but if someone else is passionate, you can't tell them that they shouldn't be. And if they are passionate, you should actually join alongside with them. Otherwise, casually play by yourself. Simply put. Because it's weird with the it's weird because of the fact that I agree and understand both sides of perspective of like, you know, you shouldn't be so serious, but at the same time you should respect being not serious, if that makes sense. So it's weird to that level, because at the same breath I'm like, yeah, no, you should not take yourself seriously, not take it seriously, except that things are chaos and you can't, you know, like, you can't control all factors of shit, because that's just how life is, pretty much. There's no problem. But if someone can be better, like, for example, this is my opinion. Oh, sorry, there's dialogue in game. I'll say, if you're in a conversation with someone, like, if you're playing with someone and they're capable of doing more, you should be able to inspire each other to do more. As opposed to, well, I don't want to do more, so I'm not going to do more. It's like, okay, but if you're capable of doing more, and you're putting more on my plate, the fuck, bro. You know?
That's the thing, though. I honestly don't think that anybody is capable of doing any more than the shit that we see every day. I think that people are just physically not capable of doing anymore.
Yeah. And that's kind of a thing that I'm, like, absolutely agreeing with you on, because of the very fact that, like, I have played through millions of games and millions of shit, and it gets to the point of, like, I'm like waiting. I'm like excitedly waiting. I'm like, I want to see you step up. I want to see you just grow as a player. You know, like I want to see physically in your movement, in your gameplay, you grow, and I can see like you improving. But you just don't fucking see that unless you're actively training someone or what have you. And even then, that can fade with time, because they don't care about it, about being ingrained, because it's being taught to them. Like, they can learn the muscle memory maybe, but they don't genuinely care, if that makes sense.
And it's not just games; it's just
everything, every aspect of life. Yep.
Nobody fucking cares about anything. And then the super funny thing too is people are always like, "Oh, why are you so serious all the time?" And I'm like, dude, I'm literally the most unserious person that's ever existed. I don't take anything seriously.
Yeah.
Literally anything. I don't care about anything anymore, because that's what clinical fucking depression and PTSD will do to you.
Yeah.
And it will make you not fucking care about anything.
Exactly.
So yeah, because I just don't care about anything, I laugh about everything.
Yeah.
That's the only way to deal with shit.
Yeah,
like
to cope with that shit. No, I agree with that.
And so, you know, it's like, yeah, sure, everything in life sucks. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna bitch about it, or are you gonna laugh about it and try to do something else?
Yeah, try making a more positive outlook and actually making it better for your own experience, because you don't have to. Since people are not doing any effort on making your experience better, why do you owe them anything? And you may as well just do the best for yourself, and find people who actually matter and give a shit in your life. Because guess what? People really don't put the effort, and they don't genuinely care.
That's why these days I just do the bare minimum of everything in every game I play. You know, which is funny, because my bare minimum
is godlike.
Yeah. Everyone else is god tier.
Exactly.
Type stuff. You know.
Same here. they're like, and I was be like, I can never be good as you. I'm like, and whenever they tell me that stuff, it's like on the most mundane shit. I'm like, do you want to take a moment? Like, we'll take like a minute, and you could be like better or as good as me if you actually want to ask. But instead, people just want to state a thing, and then they just reside themselves into mediocrity.
Super funny thing about what you just said, that they comment on you being good when you do something super basic. Yeah, whenever I go above and beyond, and I actually try.
Yep.
To do something right, you know, and it comes off being super cool and super badass, nobody says a word, right? But if I'm just not giving a shit at all, just going through the motions of doing the absolute bare minimum, kicking ass, taking names left and right, doing everything solo by myself the entire fucking time, and not even breaking a sweat, then people are like, "Oh my god, why? How are you so good?" And I'm just like, dude, I'm literally not trying. I'm literally not. I don't care.
Yep. I know.
It's like I'm leaving certain enemies alive on purpose for you
to kill them and have fun or whatever. Yeah.
Then yet you don't kill them. So I have to.
Yep. I have to go beyond, especially with games like this. Like, that's just like that's majority of co-op games is that they're like, you know, they put you in a position where they don't properly have you doing your own little thing, you know, and having people realize what they need to be stepping up to be and to actually be playing that game. There's always these games like Left 4 Dead, Vermintide, where like you are in the midst of the problems with each other, but it allows other people to lean on you immensely to the point that they can be fully on your back doing nothing. Like, I would rather have like the starter ODST where like you are separated. You are separated the entire time, but you are still working together and doing, you know, your own shit to make each other into eventually working up and leading up to together. Or either like, I wouldn't mind if it's a game it's like, you know, like what sometimes Spec Ops The Line does, some of their co-op, where it's like you really want to be chain linked together, but sometimes separating is better, so that you're able to cover more angles than you couldn't. Like, there's a risk and reward factor there. And it's the same thing like with Army of Two, if that makes sense. But there's no games like that. Everything is a horde fucking clearing game, which I'm like, that's fine, but really? And everyone hates that. They're like, no, I like the horde clearing game. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, the horde clearing game is godlike. Cool, sure, but it's always that. And then when the entire game is built to be a pre-made game, it's asinine when you always have to play it like a solo and you're better off with fucking AI teammates. Do I mind that? Not necessarily, but I don't like going into a pre-made type of game and everyone treating it with players wanting to be carried and basically, you know, how do I put this? They are less capable than the AI. And the AI is trash.
My fucking skeletons are
better. Yeah, no, I've been watching necromancy players, and I'm just like, holy shit, the skeletons are infinitely better than a full 3-man. Yeah. And you still have the 3-man, and I'm like, that is, which is weird, is a blessing that
skeletons don't do is they don't protect you from
specials. Yep.
Which is perfectly fine and totally balanced and makes a lot of sense, because if they did protect you from grabbers, then she'd be completely OP.
Yeah.
Because then she'd be invincible. You could just, because the only thing that ever kills me are grabbers. And if I had minions that I could summon that would follow me around that would kill the grabber and save me, then I'd just be invincible. And so it's a good thing that, you know, that they don't protect you from that. It also makes sense lore-wise, because once the necromancer or the vampire, but in Cena's case, once the necromancer that's controlling the undead is incapacitated.
Good job, Carillion. Thank you for picking up Salt Spire.
They can't give orders to their minions.
Get him, Barden. Show them what you're made of. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That way.
Yeah.
Too.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. Completely get that. Got you, Barden. No, and you're absolutely on point on that note, because it's the absolute truth.
so. But I haven't actually seen anybody say that Necromancer's OP, which
Yeah, I've not.
I don't think she is.
She's not.
I don't.
There's clear drawbacks, if you ask
I
me.
wouldn't even say
Like, there's not real drawbacks, but what I mean is, like, sacrifices for power, and I think it's justified.
I wouldn't even say that she's the best Sienna. I know it's a very controversial topic, but for me, the best Sienna is, always has been, and always will be
I know it.
Unchained.
Unchained, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Unchained is by far, hands down, without argument or discussion, Unchained is definitely the best Sienna in the entire game.
Yeah.
Unchained is one of the most powerful classes in the entire game, period. If you know what you're doing, and it's not that hard to figure it out. And once you figure it out, she's basically god tier. And especially give her the freaking scythe. Holy shit!
Yeah.
You think Unchained is good without this? Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Give her the scythe and just use it on Unchained, because it is freaking ridiculous.
I can believe that.
It's crazy. You've seen it.
Well, I've seen from the outside looking, looking in, but the thing is, I cannot imagine being in it, and I'm like, that is a war crime. That's a walking war crime. Not gonna lie there. That's honestly my feelings on that, which is hilarious.
And then like,
Actually, I need to update something real quick. I will.